They went when I was on my YouTube. You go down well, they have on my MP3 player or my MP, not it's an MP3 player, Blu-ray player. Okay, you have YouTube on it, and it has the thing. You go down to the selection things, and it has news and whatever, and it had a thing for a broadcast from Houston for their news about a deputy that was ambushed and murdered by some a guy that he's part of a violent crime unit near Houston. He was murdered just yesterday. And you're sitting there watching it, and you go, these people would rather do Cowboys to girls than stand up to live the Lord's Prayer to be like Solomon and King David. They'll sign up with other violent sex cult addicts and murder each other over brain chemical activity as opposed to submit to faith and the glory of God. It's depressing. They'd rather go to school and fight like hell to compare and compete as opposed to build houses to last. Solomon's wisdom, if you go read Proverbs, it's so simple. It's so intelligent. And there's nothing, aggressive violence. I was watching some of the monkeys, and yeah, a lot of blatant homosexuality stuff in Liberace and there really is. A lot of the people, you can see all the stuff they talk about with Quincy Jones and with Fresh Prince and others. You go back and you watch these shows and you see and you can feel the marketing and the competition and the insecurities of all the dysfunction and being sent to school and comparing and competing and stuff. And when you look back at your lives, and they have a commercial on during the advertising during watching the monkeys, right? It's with Marie Osmond, who used to watch on a variety show when I was a kid, and they were a part of the same cult, the Mormon church, that we were as kids, and stuff. So you felt a camaraderie with them because you're part of the same cult, right? And she sits there and, there's this thing called age and it sucks. And she's got porcelain veneers, plastic surgery. She still travels the U.S. in a bus singing songs for money to get porcelain veneers and plastic surgery. So she looks and appears and feels more sexually desirable than the people that pay her bills, right? Because she sings good. Right? Paper roses. And you're like, what? It's like, age doesn't suck. No, what sucks is being denied faithful love, being tortured by sociopaths. My mom was murdered by the medical industry. So much toxins and stress and abuse, it started cutting her life down. And my mom used to pray to Jesus to help her die, almost through her whole marriage, because she was so miserable in her marriage. She had 5 kids with a guy who they thought they got along, but everybody. The other thing with my parents' dysfunction in their relationship is can't be compared to other people's. Well, because they took me to Fort Huachuca and said we were studying your whole life, yada yada yada, and my parents tried to have a good functional relationship, but were denied it by Spencer J. Kimball, Gordon B. Hinckley. Kimball was an ass. He was the head of that cult, and I obliterated that cult by the time before I was 4. And then we stayed in it. And then by the time I was about 10, I found out about rhetoric in their stuff that they didn't talk about in sermons. And everybody had it on the down low. They talk about it at home, home people, but they didn't talk about it at my house because we didn't believe that kind of bullshit about the black people and Cain's skin and all that stuff of killing Abel. And then they threw that bullshit past me because I had a black friend, and I left. I said, "This is fucking ridiculous," and I left the organization, and my parents followed. And after that, of course, I totally corrected Spencer J. Kimball, who was like in his 80s. It's supposed to be a prophet, seer, and revelator that spoke and had conversations directly with Jesus Christ and then came out and told the public what Jesus said, right? And by the time they got me back into the church by harassing my wife at home with cute little girls that they send in, go get them, I took Amy back because I figured she could use that kind of a peer group, Sister Stott and Sister Phelps, instead of girls that take her to the bar and go, which she eventually ended up with everywhere we went. They're like, well, you should have stayed in the Mormon church. Why? Gordon B. Hinckley and Spencer J. Kimball work with people in the military that had surveillance cameras in my bedroom. How is that any different than Amy going to the bar and having sex with all the guys that Nate Reynolds trained to be Navy SEAL sex cult tailhook assholes? How is that any different? Okay. You tell me the difference and growing old sucks. No, it doesn't. What sucks is selfish people doing things to maintain their positions of delusions of human authority and power. That's what sucks. Okay, Marie Osmond? Okay. You get it, Donnie? How about Danny Bonaducci? Does he get it? And so they're all all their lives, all these great people, all these icons, all they were was a propaganda. They're basically the bearded lady and the monkey boy at the circus. The greatest of all time. Okay, that's all they are. Okay. And they think they're great. It's like, ooh, you sing real good. Bring in more money. We got to sell more cans of spinach. Hey, olive oil and Popeye. That's all they are. Could have a Popeye cartoon. Kansas City Star. You're the number one attraction in every supermarket parking lot. No thanks. Oh, but your barber tells you jokes, huh? Wow. So it's nuts. You got to gank money, pay extortion, live here. These people are authority and power over you, and they manipulate you with money and technology. Okay. And Spencer J. Kimball was an asshole, but Gordon B. Hinckley was worse. Gordon B. Hinckley acted like someone that was better than me. Okay. He had surveillance cameras in my bedroom. He knew about my wife getting sexually groomed and abused by Michael Aquino and Antoine LaVey and didn't tell people about it publicly, and we need to help Earl clean up Fort Huachuca. He died and didn't say a damn thing, just like David Rockefeller. He's no different than David Rockefeller. Okay? Mark Zuckerberg's not. Jeff Bezos isn't. Richard Branson. Children, I had a dream that you would be a prostitute for marketing in a spaceship, and you think it's going to be a lot ground control to Major Tom. Right? Hey, Jack Asmore, I was never a big fan of the Beatles or the Rolling Stones either, but I did like some of their songs. Okay? But I've never been a big fanatic. I had some posters on my wall of basketball players because I thought that's how I was going to pay my extortion for my family to be comfortable on planet Earth. But the people that were involved in the business were such assholes, I said, fuck that. I'll just be a regular person and then eventually try to get through school and teach and coach so I can help kids be more like me and less like the assholes that think you need an extra 10 grand in your paycheck and you'll put 5 gorillas on the court just to win a district championship. You know what I'm saying? That's how they are. Be a good person, okay? And stop being brain chemical addicts. You stop worrying about, it'd be embarrassing. Most of these people that are celebrities, they get all the best stuff. All these attractive celebrities, they weren't chemically poisoned by the military to make them look inadequate, feel inadequate, or, in the bedroom. In groups where we get together and build houses or share food or discuss intelligence to help people not be violent, aggressive, manipulative, and selfish with one another. All the physical, mental, and emotional things they've done to me to make me appear inadequate, inefficient, and not as good as Jesus or Job or Jonah or Muhammad or, other people. I don't take my abuse I don't internalize it and say, oh, Earl, you should have done this right. You should have turned left in Albuquerque. You would have ended up at the Cara Festival in Idaho instead of having Elmer Fudd a gun in your face in Albuquerque, right? And I don't do that. I'm like, well, there wasn't anything I could do. I was born a good person, and assholes were trying to make themselves look like good people by trying to make me look and feel like I'm not. Another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Right? Life's eternal and grace is infinite. We are what we do. And we're spiritually predisposed to do what we are. Don't compare yourself to me, because I definitely don't compare myself to you. Okay, just submit to faith and infinite glory and love and be loved in return. It's not that hard, okay? Lady, you shot me.